We're so glad that you're here tonight to voice your opinions. If you so desire, please sign up for these meetings regularly and remain engaged with the community. So with that said, we'll move on to reports. Executive Director Morris Sample.
Hey, thank you, Mr. Chairman. Just have a couple of comments. If you've looked at our website, you've noticed that we've got a banner on the top of it that cautions everybody to make sure that you don't send registration for a fishing license to anybody but the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission. Apparently, there's been some stuff out there saying you can purchase a fishing license through somebody else, and that is not true. So just be aware that the only people that sell fishing license online is the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission. And there's a number on that banner on our website that you can call to talk to them. As most of you know, the lake traffic continues to be pretty high this year. Seems like much higher than normal. We're just asking people to utilize good judgment and be courteous to others. Also wanted to point out that large gatherings, currently the governor's regulations or order limits outdoor activities to groups of less than 25. So large gatherings on the lake shouldn't be happening. Just keep that in mind. And the last thing I have is really a very good success story. We want to commend the Lincoln County Lake Patrol and Deputy Scott Sawyer of Catawba County. They encountered a person that had fallen off a jet ski or PWC here recently. He was struggling to stay on top of the water. They were able to rescue him and get him to safety. And I think they're really credited with saving his life. So we really appreciate that. Also just want to point out, and I'll say another thing here about law enforcement when I get to the ATON report, but I know law enforcement gets the, people think the only thing they do is enforcement, and they do so much more on the lake. They look out for things like this. They help us keep our navigation markers in good shape, and they do a lot more than just enforcement. So I want to throw out a big thank you to them for all the work they've done in this really high traffic time. So that's all of my report, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Morris. Okay, on to enforcement reports. Cornelius Police Department. We have Sergeant Figueroa with us tonight.
Well, okay, Billy. It's going to give me. It's going to take a minute for me to find people. So just hang on. And so far, I'm not seeing him. He did send us the report. I can go over the highlights. The Cornelius Police Department is on. Send me a chat message and let me know what you're logged on as. I've got the report here, Mr. Chairman. I can kind of hit the highlights for it.
Let's come back to him. I'm pretty sure he was going to be in attendance. So let's get forward until we can maybe determine who he's or the name at which he's logged under. So let's get forward to Iredell County. Do we have Iredell County with us tonight?
I haven't seen anybody from the Sheriff's Department.
Deputy Church isn't with us. Okay.
Well, if he is, he's not logged on in that name.
Okay. Okay. Catawba County Lake Patrol.
No, don't see anybody there either.
Okay. Lincoln County.
No, I don't see any law enforcement.
Okay. I know Sergeant Ron Robertson is with us from the Wildlife Resources Commission, but before we go on to him, Morris, would you like to go ahead and give Cornelius Police Department's report that they submitted?
Yes, I can do that. I'll just read the narrative here. Officers responded to and initiated 86 calls for service, completed 411 zone checks, and conducted 44 problem-solving activities during the month of July. These calls for service are on the lake. The most calls for service were received on Saturday. Calls for service were reported between the hours of 12 p.m. and 6 p.m. most often. Average response time for calls for service was 6.4 minutes, while the average en route time was 1.9 minutes. And they've got a monthly activity chart here. I won't go through all this. This will be part of the minutes of the meeting that anybody can go look at. I will give, let me read one additional, well, there's a couple here. Let me read a couple of the narratives that he's put out that might be of interest. Said officers responded to Peninsula Club in reference to a group of teenagers on the dock swimming. There were only a few members and the rest were guests. The manager of the club advised they're currently not allowing guests to swim due to COVID-19 restrictions. So if you are at the Peninsula Yacht Club, just be aware of that. A couple of attempts to locate. Said assist a person that says upon arrival, officers located the vessel carrying 3 passengers. The male operator stated the vessel had no power and was taking on water. Sea tow was requested and Fireboat 4 arrived on scene shortly after. Sea tow and Fireboat utilized several water pumps and was able to get almost all the water from the vessel. And another one where it says, okay. Just got a note. Maybe I missed him. No, somebody sent me a note and said look for Sergeant, but I don't see that either. Says call a boat taking on water around R3 when officers arrived. Kenea's Fireboat was on the scene. All passengers were placed on the police boat. Soon after, occupants boarded their own boat. The vessel. Soon after occupants boarded our boat, their vessel overturned and went underwater. So that was another good benefit. Attempt to locate. Vessel overheated, was drifting in water intake exclusion zone. That's over by the dam. Vessel had small children aboard. Considering those factors as well as darkness approaching, the vessel was towed 150 yards to Blythe Docks. Said July 8th, 9th, and 10th, Cornelius Lake Patrol, along with other local first responders, participated in a salute to service event hosted by Robbie Marchant and his Green Centurion monster wake surfing boat. The police officers, firemen, and nurses were taken out and given free wake surfing lessons. So that's just kind of the highlights of their report. If Sergeant Figueroa is on here, I'm sorry, if he's on here, I'm just not finding him. So.
All right. Thank you, Chris.
I know I've seen Ron Robinson.
He's here. But on that note, good thing you did there, Robbie, taking the medical professionals out for free lessons.
Okay, Ron, let me unmute you.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can hear you now. Go ahead.
Okay. Yeah, I'm Sergeant Ron Robertson with the North Carolina Wildlife Commission. Just to touch base with you as far as the other law enforcement agencies, at least Iredell County, I know over the weekend they were dealing with a missing person. I've kind of been out of touch with them as far as today goes. We've had our own things going on today, but on Friday, they had a person that came up missing from a residence up near, was up above State Park. It was north of the State Park. But actually, it was across from Long Island Marina. And He came up missing on Friday. It was reported on Saturday. I think as of right now, they are trying to figure out if he is in the water or if he's on land. It's still under investigation by the sheriff's office, but I don't want to go into much about that because I don't know a lot about it, first of all, and then also that is their investigation. So I'll let them follow up with you on that. But that's a possibility of why they're not here. I don't know if he was found today or not. Again, I wasn't involved with it at all today. As far as we go, with the Wildlife Commission, there's been no shortage of boating accidents this summer, and nothing really has changed since last month other than numerous boating accidents. On Saturday, July the 25th in Iredell County, we had a man that was on a PWC. He was crossing over a wake, and as he was crossing that wake, he struck another oncoming wake and got ejected from his own vessel. Ingested a significant amount of water and he wasn't able to reboard by himself. Another boater came along, saw what had happened, got him to a nearby shoreline. They got medical assistance to him immediately, and he was treated and released. They did say that he had consumed a significant amount of water, and lucky to be alive. But he was treated and released, and just so you know, this one was not a rental. It was not a rental boat on that one. On Tuesday, July the 28th, Iredell County, we had a group of, a group that rented a pontoon boat. They had been out tubing. The subjects fell into the water off of the tube, and the operator circled back to get them. Again, being a rental boat, they weren't very comfortable with operating the boat, and instead of circling back, they decided they were going to back up to the folks to get them in the boat. And of course, when they backed up, one of the females was struck by the prop of the boat, and she was taken to CMC in Charlotte. Last we heard, she's doing fine. She had 3 severe lacerations to her leg from the prop cuts. Just to say, you know, the rotation of a prop, it'll leave diagonal marks usually wherever it strikes on a person. And you can always tell how fast the boat was going based on how far apart those marks are. So wasn't going extremely fast. She only had 3. Had that prop been turning extremely fast, it probably would have been a different outcome. So extremely lucky as well. On Saturday, on the 1st, Saturday, August the 1st, in Iredell County, we had a teenage boy that was sitting on a PWC. He was stationary out in Davidson Creek. He had a companion that was with him on another PWC. A third person comes out of nowhere. They see him coming. His friend yells at him and says, "Hey, he's about to hit you." Luckily, being young and athletic, he was able to jump off of it and avoid getting hit. But when the person hit the jet ski, they actually ran across the starboard side, broke the steering column and the mirror off. And of course, the operator fled the scene at that point. So we still have not identified who that is. We had a somewhat of a description, but no boat numbers, no real description of the ski. But we're still trying to find that one. A lot of times these things end up going to a marina somewhere to be fixed, or, you know, we'll get a phone call saying, "Hey, I got a ski that's been wrecked," and we can follow up from there. But so far, nothing on that one. Catawba County, not sure of the date on the next 2 here, but Catawba County, they had a group that had rented a pontoon boat. They were also going tubing. There was a woman on the boat that was letting the rope out for the tube while it was underway. And while it was underway, of course, the rope was going out at a fairly fast speed, pinched her thumb, and actually broke the tip of her thumb. Lincoln County, they had a man, I think this one was mentioned earlier, where Catawba County was able to save his life. But Lincoln County. Which one was it, Commissioner? I guess that was in Catawba. I said Lincoln, but I think it was in Catawba.
I think actually Lincoln County and Catawba both was on that.
Okay. Well, basically, he was a very large man. He had a life jacket on, but when he fell off of the PWC, he wasn't able to reboard. I was told he had struggled for like at least 30 minutes trying to get back on board, to get back on it. And at that point, his life jacket started taking on water. Basically, it wasn't enough to support him. Improper size and condition, and caused him to basically go under the water somewhat. And he ingested quite a bit of water, but luckily they were there to help him out and get him out of the water, because that could also have been a different situation or a different outcome. On this past Saturday, on August the 8th in Iredell County, we had our next BAT detail. For those that don't know, that is a mobile intoxilizer bus that comes from the Department of Health and Human Services, the branch for alcohol. They come out, they'll set up the bus for us at the different access areas. And the purpose of it is to make it a little more streamlined, a little faster. You know, someone that blows, well, a statutory legal limit is 0.08, but someone that blows maybe a 10 or an 11, where you would normally we'd have to get their boat secured, everybody else on the boat to a safe location, get them to where we parked on the lake, which could be miles and miles away. Usually, as never fails, we're on the opposite end of the lake from our vehicle, and then drive them to the intoxilizer. So it's just a time saver for us because we have the intoxilizer right there. Utilizing the BAT on the 8th, it was at Hager's Creek access area. We made cited 8 boat warnings, 8 boating citations, 1 littering citation, made 2 boating while impaired arrests. 1 was a .07, 1 was a .19, which was also involved in an accident. I do want to say something about the 07. You know, the statutory legal limit, yes, is .08. However, you can be arrested for less than .08 if we can prove impairment. And of course, drugs is always a factor. So I'll just leave that one there. There was 1 DWI made during this detail as well. It was at Beatty's Ford access area. Individual actually blew a .06, but they were a minor. So, you know, a minor cannot obviously consume any alcoholic beverages. And technically, they could be charged with both boating while impaired. They could be charged with driving while impaired and also for being under 21 and being impaired. So that's a 0 tolerance for them. And then on Saturday night, we had a small aluminum boat. There was 2 men. They were anchored out in Stumpy Creek, just fishing. It was about 9:30 at night. And there was another man who was unlawfully on a jet ski after sunset, cruising around, cutting up. And he actually ran into the back end of the aluminum boat, and the front of the PWC was lodged on the back corner beside the motor. We had a hard time even getting it apart, but one of the men that was in the boat was ejected into the water. Nobody was hurt. It was a miracle no one got hurt. The individual on the jet ski was extremely impaired. He's the one that blew the .19. So over twice the statutory legal limit. And just to finish up, so far this year on Lake Norman, we have had 26 boating accidents. 4 of those were fatal drownings, and 1 was the first Cheyenne's Law case ever made on the lake. So constantly staying busy. That's all I have.
Thanks, Sergeant. I appreciate your work. Morris, before we move on, Sergeant Figueroa is on with us now under his actual name. I informed him that you gave his report in terms of the statistics and reports, but I just want to check with him and see if there's anything he would like to add in addition.
He logged on as patrol.
Statistics.
Let me unmute this. I think this might be him.
All right, yeah. Can you guys hear me now?
Yeah, we can hear you now. We're sorry.
All right, so sorry for my tardiness. Long story short, if your daughter has an iPhone, she's liable to drop it in the lake. So the iPhone was recovered. Then I had a horrible time getting logged in. Thank you, Billy, and everybody else for getting me logged in. Morris gave our briefing. You know, we had good response times. The lake's been off the hook still, but thankfully the past couple weeks we've seen it slow down. I think we've seen it slow down just a little bit. So, and I guess you gave the stats and that sort of stuff. But anything you guys need, of course, let us know. And we're just hanging in there till it eventually slows down. And we think we're seeing it just a little bit. So nothing notable other than what's on our report.
Thanks, Sergeant. On to lake issues. Duke Energy. Do we have Chad or Joe with us tonight?
I don't see either one of those people. Unless they're logged on a name I don't recognize. Nope.
Sorry, folks, just bear with us through this. We've got a lot of participation.
If anybody from Duke is on, send me a chat message and let me know what you're logged on as, because I don't see you.
Yeah, anyone, that's a good point. Anyone who we skip over in the report because we can't find you, please shoot Morris a message so that we know that you're here and we'll come back to you. Coast Guard Auxiliary, I saw Steve, I believe.
Yeah, Steve's here. Hang on. Okay, Steve. Steve, are you there?
Okay, can you hear me okay, Morris?
Yes, we got you.
Great. My name is Steve Reagan. I'm representing the three Coast Guard Auxiliary units that operate on Lake Norman. The Coast Guard Auxiliary is the volunteer civilian part of the U.S. Coast Guard. We normally, this time of year, would be doing patrols on the water. We would be doing vessel safety around the lake, and we would also be offering public education courses in addition to many other activities. However, due to COVID-19 restrictions, none of those activities I just mentioned are actually being done right now. We do have the ability under special circumstances to receive orders to go on the water, on the lake, to actually provide assistance if requested from the Coast Guard, which is unlikely to happen on an inland lake like Lake Norman that is sole state waters. So right now our operations are essentially suspended, but the only thing that we are able to do right now is have business meetings, which we are conducting virtually right now. So that's my report, Morris and Billy.
Okay. Thank you, Steve. Morris, did you see the chat message? So
Yes, yeah, let me unmute Joe.
let's go with Joe.
Okay, Joe?
How's everybody doing?
We're doing good.
You got me?
I got you.
I actually was just going to be a innocent bystander. I thought Chad was going to be on, but so I don't really have a prepared report. I will say I've received a considerable number of inquiries about what Billy discussed earlier about the wake surfing committee and the proposed ordinance. I have shared this information with Billy and Morris and John. I've pretty much handed all of any inquiries I got to commission staff or to Billy and to Wildlife Resources. I've basically I've kind of deferred that to Wildlife Resources, and I've tried to make sure that I kept Billy and the commission staff copied on any emails I sent. I think one recommendation I got as of today before the meeting, which I had forgotten, but it seemed to be an effective it seemed to work back when it happened the last time. Is these are unique circumstances with these meetings, and I almost would like to propose to the commissioners and commission staff that we really kind of pause a lot of these decisions until we go back to active meeting. These just it seems complex for me, even for me to engage constructively through these processes. And I don't know if y'all thought about that. It's just a suggestion. It seems to me like Mark Lancaster did that several years ago. They just kind of took a pause or a time out to kind of make sure the communication was all consistent and everybody was on the same page. And the last thing I'll say is I wish I was wherever Rick Howard is. If you guys are seeing what I'm seeing when he comes up on the screen, I actually thought I had a pretty good spot for the meeting.
He's been there for 3 months.
That's all I've got. Good to see everybody.
Thank you, Joe. Good to see you. Okay, America's Boating Club. Do we have Steve Stewart online with us?
Yes, hang on. Well, I think we've got Lou.
Oh, Lou's here?
Yeah. Give it a second. Lou, you might be muted on your end. It's not letting me unmute you here. Try unmuting yourself.
It should send, Lou, it should have, when Morris unmutes you, it should send you a prompt. If you can hear us, to unmute. If you guys keep going back and forth with muting and unmuting on your individual ends, it'll default to shutting you both off. So Lou has to accept the prompt.
How is that?
There you go.
Is that all right?
Yes, you got you.
Okay. Pretty much like what Steve reported. We're not doing any educational sessions. We're not doing any boat vessel safety checks. We did a couple of private requests, but nothing that was actually structured. The September conference, the district September conference has been canceled. So we're not having any district meetings either. We are in the process of doing the voting for the new officers for 2021 for the district. And the last session that I was involved in, I believe that we're just going to unanimously say that everybody that was the current officer this year should just be the same officer for next year. But that's not finalized yet. I don't know if Russ Klein is on here, but I believe, Morris, we're pretty well all complete on the ATONs. At least that's the word that I've been receiving.
Yes, Lou, I was going to say something about that during my ATON report a little later.
Okay, very well, very well. And that's about all I have for the America's Boating Club.
Thank you, Lou.
Okay, did we get Steve Reagan on?
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, he's already reported.
Okay.
Thank you, Lou. Mecklenburg County Parks and Rec. Do we have Peter Cook or another representative?
We don't have him.
If someone's on from Mecklenburg County Parks and Rec, please shoot us a chat message so that we can come back to you. Island Habitat, Gene Vaughn, I'll hold off until and give that report when we get to the NCWF report. River Keepers, Catawba River Keepers.
Yeah, we've got Michael. Hang on. Michael, you there?
Yes, sir. Evening, everyone. How are you? I just want to start my report by saying I live up near the 150 bridge, Iredell County, and I've been looking for that cove that Rick Howard lives on, and I haven't found it yet. So I don't know. It's a deep secret, that's for sure. But looks like it's probably one of the nicest places on the lake. Not a long report. As you know, we've been doing the swim guide program. The water testing for swimming safety all summer long. Last couple of weeks, all 13 sites on Lake Norman have come up green. So healthy swimming conditions. That's good news. We have launched our monitoring boat on Lake Norman. We'll be operating out of the LNMC Marina. So you're going to see us out in the lake now much more regularly, doing water testing, following up on any incidents, pollution incidents and spills and things like that. So that was a gift of a supporter of ours. They donated a boat that's a good work boat for us. So we thank them for that. And then last thing is just a reminder that we will be conducting River Sweep, which is a big cleanup of the entire river, but obviously also Lake Norman, on Saturday, October 3rd. And if there's anyone who's interested in following up on that, you can check out the Catawba Riverkeeper website. And we'd love to have you come out and help us clean up the river. All right, that's it.
Thank you, Michael.
Yep.
To water quality, erosion, buffers, and illegal discharge. Do we have Mecklenburg County Water Quality? Do we have Dave with us tonight? Dave Ferguson?
Hang on, Billy. No.
Okay. We'll move on to the North Carolina Wildlife Federation report, and I'll handle that as chair of the North Carolina Wildlife Federation. So we're really excited about the project that I'm about to present. And Morris, I sent you an email with the photo. Is it possible to share, bring that photo up and share your screen?
I don't think so, Billy, at this point. I've got it on my phone, but
Okay.
I'm on a computer that I don't have my emails on, so.
Okay, so I would like to, after this description of the project, ask the fellow Marine Commissioners for a motion to approve the project. But it's such a wonderful project. There is a new fishing pier at Hager's Creek. And the fishing pier is one of the few public fishing piers on Lake Norman. And the beauty of that fishing pier is it's in fairly deep water, considering the other fishing pier that's on the lake. And we've been working, we're applying for a Duke Energy Habitat Enhancement Program, HEP program grant, to enhance the fishery habitat alongside that pier, so that the public can have, the benefit of, when they go out to fish, that we assure that fish are around the pier. So what that will entail is a series of rock reefs, in which that we already have 7 of on Lake Norman, but these will be somewhat smaller reefs placed in the water around the fishing pier, about anywhere from about 75 feet out from the pier, which is a great casting distance for a fishing line, a fishing lure to be cast. And in doing so, we would like to protect that area so that boaters don't run aground or know that there are rock reefs under it. So part of the project is not only to place the reefs, but it's also to place buoys that note that the rock reefs are there, and that would entail 5 buoys that would, and according to our grant application, be paid for through the grant. So in addition to the rock reefs and the buoys, we're also looking at interpretive signage on the pier, describing the fishery itself, the reefs, the rock reefs, and also the species of fish that you can potentially catch or that exist in Lake Norman. So that's, I've got word, and I would like to, we've been working with Duke Energy on this, and I'd like to ask Joe a question, maybe put him on the spot now, because I'm not quite sure up to speed on the exact where we are in the process. Joe.
Hang on, I got to unmute him again. Which means I got to find him.
Got it.
Yeah. Hey, Joe.
Hi, Billy.
Sorry to put you on the spot there, but I should have followed up with you on this before I presented it to the commission. But has Duke Lake Services officially approved the rock reefs in the project at Hager's Creek?
So there's been some communication back and forth with Michael Abney. I think you know Michael. There's been just some clarification on the processes that were really defined in a big meeting with WRC at McGuire. I think it was last year, where they talked about, you know, what's involved in putting these rock reefs in areas where you have shallow water habitats. I think they finally clarified or defined exactly what Duke needs. And I think Michael was working with the Wildlife Federation to put together the summary request. I know that everything's pretty much been reviewed and somewhat approved, as long as it's consistent with the guidance.
Right. Okay. That's my understanding of where we are in the process. So thank you for that clarification. So I apologize to my fellow commissioners that we can't get the map image of the actual project, but so that we can move forward, you know, as soon as Duke Energy approves it and we're ready to go with deploying the rock reefs, I would ask my fellow commissioners I would entertain a motion to approve the project as a whole, buoys, rock reefs, and the whole project.
So moved.
Okay. I guess second. Who was the second?
Me, Rick.
Okay. Got okay. And so, any further discussion on that project? And excuse me, I'll clarify this motion. A motion to approve the Hager's Creek Access Fishing Pier Fisheries Project contingent upon approval from Duke Lake Services and the North Carolina Wildlife Resources Commission. Okay. Okay. All in favor?
Aye.
Mr. Chairman, let me point out, I think under the rules that
Roll call.
the government, we need to take a roll call vote for these types of things.
Okay. Okay. We'll back up and do a roll call vote. We had the motion made by, we'll go with Commissioner Scott.
Aye.
Commissioner Hughes.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Ettinger. All right. Thank you guys, unanimous. Great project, great public resource. Appreciate it. Okay, we are now in the public comment section of the agenda. Morris, if you will please take it from here.
Okay, let me just say, I've got quite a number of folks signed up to speak. So what I'm going to do is I've been trying to keep track of everybody that's logged in. And if you register to speak and I don't call on you, then that means I don't recognize your name. So if you don't hear your name called, I guess send me a chat note that says who you're logged in under. Since we do have a large number, we're going to have to go strictly by the 3-minute rule. So at 30 seconds to go, I'll give you a warning. At 3 minutes, we'll move on to the next person. So the first person I have on my list, and I'm doing this in order that I'll receive them. The first person I have that seems to be present is John Shields. So let me get him unmuted. Okay, John?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Thank you for letting me join. My name is John Shields, and wanted to talk about the no-wake buoys that Mr. Andrew is proposing to put into our cove. And I'm definitely very much on board for this because I swim the cove, and sometimes in the morning we have fishermen or I guess some of the jug fishermen come flying in there, and sometimes it can be very dangerous. I feel like they come about 10 or 15 feet off of our docks, and quite frankly, just come in there way too fast. And we are in a narrow cove, so I don't think there would be any issues with putting a no-wake buoy in there because people should not be going that fast in that area. It's not on the main channel or anything like that. So that's just a comment I wanted to throw in there, that I'm very much in support of Mr. Andrew's proposal to put a buoy in our cove.
All right, thank you. The next person I have on my list is Rose and Terry Dorton. Let me find them. Okay, Mr. Dorton.
Hello.
Yes.
Yeah, I've got the same information pertaining to our cove here that Tommy Andrew lives on. As you all know, this lake is getting a little old, but the older it gets, the more territory is taken up with people living on the lake, using boats and renting sea-doos. And this part of the lake used to be very quiet. It was very nice. And now it's gotten quite rambunctious with several boats about every weekend linking up right out here in the cove, and they don't care about who lives on the side. We care about them having a good time, but we just need some buoys out here, and we appreciate all the work all you guys have been doing over the years. I didn't know there was so much going on with these meetings, and we do appreciate your service, and that's all I have to say. Appreciate it.
All right, thank you, sir. Next person is Bob and Sandy Fox. Let's find them. Okay.
Hello.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Thank you. This is Bob Foch. So my wife and I own a few properties down this cove, and generally we're in favor of having a buoy out there, primarily from a safety standpoint, since the cove is relatively narrow. And if you're, like one of my other neighbors said, swimming out there or just hanging out in the cove, and some fishermen or personal watercraft people come flying in there, it's a little bit dangerous. So we're definitely in favor of the buoy, and we appreciate the opportunity to express our concern. That's all I've got.
All right, thank you, sir. Okay, the next person is Barney and Joanne Rowert. Find them. Okay, go ahead, please.
Hi, this is Barney Roart, and my wife Joanna is here also. And we live adjacent to the Shields and also the O'Neills, and across from Mr. Ostnode, and agree that we should have buoys in the cove because we kayak and paddleboard in the cove quite often. And on several occasions, boats have come in there fast to the point where we've had to, like if you're standing on a paddleboard, you have to go down and sit on the paddleboard because we know wakes are going to hit us. And it's a cove that's narrow enough that should have buoys, is what we feel, for safety reasons. And that's all we got.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, the next person I have is Lamar Parker. Let me find him. Okay, Mr. Parker, go ahead.
Yes, sir. I agree also with the other comments. I do take the opportunity to swim in the cove because of its quietness. The disruption it has increased over time just with the volume on the lake, both from fishermen, jet skis, etc. And early morning swimming becomes dangerous at times because of that. And the cove, entrance to the cove is, I don't know, 350 feet. So it's awful hard to keep away 150 feet from all the docks that are in there. I do appreciate all y'all's time and effort for the hard work y'all do as a commission.
Okay.
I apologize for my dog.
Oh, okay, that's fine. He got his word in.
Yes, sir. That's my 3 minutes. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next person I have is Wayne Burgess. Let me find him. Wayne Burge, I'm sorry.
Yeah, right here.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Thank you. And appreciate all that you fellows do and all the work you do. I as well share the sentiments that have been expressed. And where we are in this cove, it's usually at a point towards the back of the cove where I believe that some that don't frequent the cove realize that this cove is not going anywhere but to a dead end. And so that's usually where they slam on the brakes, so to speak. But up to that point, there's a lot of traffic, and it's probably unintended in some ways, but there is quite a bit of traffic oftentimes. It does come in there rather fast. If you're obviously for swimming, it's dangerous. But even if you're working on your dock, you better get off that ladder in a hurry because here it comes. But I do want to share the sentiments of others, and that for safety purposes, whether the speeding into the cove is intentional or not, I think for the safety of everybody involved, especially if you have younger family members that like to swim, for that purpose, we should have some kind of warning for the safety of others, and the buoy would be great. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next person I have on the list is Lynette Fantona, I think. I'm sure I'm not pronouncing that right. But... Okay, go ahead.
Hi guys, thank you. I just wanted, my husband's on here too, Matt Santamena. We're the owners of City Marine nautique dealership in town, and we sell wakeboard, wake surf boats. We just wanted to weigh in with the committee and let you guys know that our main concern is that everyone boats safely, and we take the opportunity for years we have to educate our customers and make sure that they're aware of how to boat safely. And we have the Wake Responsibly campaign going in our dealership to educate everyone on how to do that. So we appreciate you guys, and we thank you for, you know, all that you do to keep us safe. And my husband's also on the line if he could have a minute.
Go ahead.
Oh, you can't hear him.
With you? Is he physically with you on the same line, or do we need?
Is he on a different line?
Oh, there he is, Matt. Yeah, Matt. I apologize, Matt. I mispronounced your last name. Matt said.
That's okay. A lot of people have that.
Okay, go ahead.
One of the things that I spoke down at Lake Wiley Marine Commission, and one of the things the community didn't understand down there is that all the boat dealers who sell towboats belong to the WSIA and work with the WSIA to promote safety. And you can see this card I've got up here that we try to promote, safety. We try to promote staying away from the docks. We try to promote not doing repetitive passes and keeping the music low. So a lot of the folks down there in the Lake Wiley residents didn't understand that the local dealers were actually working on an educational program, and we're very pleased to hear that we did so. So I just wanted to mention that.
Thanks, sir.
Thank you. Okay, the next person is Jonathan Easter. Okay. Okay, let me try one more time, Mr. Easter. I think we did it at the same time. There you go.
On me, Morris?
Yes.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. I'm going to basically be adding to comments that Phil Patterson will be making on the Marina Village application. I live, this cove is structured. I'm, much we're and with the number of boats that you have come through here, we also have a new rental place at Stutz Marina. So we've had an increase in people who don't know the rules of the lake, that they're new to it, and it creates a safety hazard for people kayaking and boarding and swimming down this cove. So this is the cove that's in between Stutz and Isle of Pines. So obviously, when you get back in here, you can tell how narrow it is. So appreciate the time and the ability to comment, and thank you very much for your consideration.
All right, thank you. Okay, Rob Monson. Oh, man. Okay, guys, there'll be a short recess while I put some new batteries in my mouse. Just hang on a second.
Why don't we do that? Why don't we've been on for a while. We've got a while to go. Why don't we take a 3-minute recess real quick?
Okay. Okay, Billy, I got it going again.
Okay. Okay. Let's all our commissioners here. No, let's wait on Rick to get back.
Okay. Sorry about that.
It happens. While we're waiting, I guess I'll just elaborate on that NCWF project at Hager's Creek fishing pier. It's that's a very popular fishing pier. This summer, I'm sure a lot of it has to do with people being isolated because of the pandemic, but it's highly utilized. So I've seen the single individuals out there, but I've seen families with kids. So I just think that it's a great public resource, and with so little, relatively speaking, public access on Lake Norman in terms of fishing and fishing piers, I really appreciate my fellow commissioners for approving that project, and we're really looking forward to that. Of all the projects I've been involved with over the past decade, this is at the top.
Yeah, have we got Rick back yet?
Yeah, Rick's back.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. Let's continue on.
Okay, the next person is Rob Monson. So go ahead, sir.
Yeah, my name's Rob Monson. I'm a retired trauma surgeon who's always advocated safety, and I think I'm speaking in favor of the Marina Village access lot no wake buoy. I think we need to be proactive rather than reactive. We've had 2 buoys in that cove for years. I've lived there for 36 years, and for about 20 years we had 2 buoys, and things were pretty good. I mean, we still had crazy people once in a while, but since these 2 non-sanctioned buoys have been removed, there's been a tremendous increase of the knuckleheads flying down the cove, and from my dock to across the other side is 260 feet. So there's absolutely no way anybody can have a legal wake there. Since the removal, children that are swimming, dogs that are retrieving, paddle boards, kayaks, like John Easter said, is putting our citizens of the cove at risk, not to mention all the damage they're doing to the property. Actually, this year I've had 2 individuals who I've stopped because they're putting up wakes, who have told me that since our no wake buoys had been removed, that they thought it was all right now to go down that cove with a full wake, which is really crazy. There's more and more uneducated people and boat traffic and PWCs. I understand there's never enough lake patrol out there to patrol every cove of our 538-mile lake, but at least if we had a buoy, it may suggest to these knuckleheads that there is a law that we have to follow with the no wake buoy. And I really think for safety reasons, it's important that we get one in our cove back. Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, thank you. Okay, the next person is Andy Elliott. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Hey, everybody. Thank you, Director Sample, Chairman Wilson, and Commissioners. I'm speaking out in support of this buoy for the Marina Village. As Dr. Monson just said a minute ago, used to have buoys in place. It really slowed down the jet skis and the boats. They didn't come flying in here. It made a big difference. Now they're gone. You know, why do we need to slow down? It will overemphasize the point, but the safety of those swimming in the cove, like my wife is swimming, like I'm out there paddleboarding and the boats and the jet skis come flying in. It's just not safe. Erosion control by limiting those big wakes that are rocking our docks and rocking our shoreline. The other thing is people come flying down there. It's a narrow cove. And what do they do if they don't know where they are and they're going so darn fast? They can't stop. There's no room to turn around. It's just not a safe situation. Accidents are just waiting to happen. And, you know, I think the point that's been brought up before as well is you get the folks coming out of Stutz and some other places, the tourists on these rental jet skis and their boats, they don't know where they are. They don't know what to do. They're not familiar with common boating etiquette of going slow in these narrow coves. They're just ripping it because they got a jet ski and they can. So I thank you, commissioners, for supporting the placement of this buoy in our cove. I really can't think of a reason why we wouldn't have that buoy out there. There's just not a good reason, if nothing more than safety. Thanks, folks.
Thank you. Okay, the next person is Robbie Marchant. Get him up. Okay, Robbie, go ahead.
Good evening, everybody. I'm concerned about the efforts of the Marine Commission to target one group of recreational users and its clear direction to restrict the use of the lake. There are challenges on the lake and we must work together to educate, not regulate. In 2018 and 19, I taught over 750 people to wake responsibly. During that, we taught them how to stay within the parameters of the wake responsibly guidelines of 200 feet minimum distance to the docks and shorelines. What we've done with this at other marinas and boat clubs, Airbnbs, all that kind of stuff, all of those guys should have postings of what the regulations are or what the Wake Responsibly campaign is all about. Instead of the Marine Commission spending monies on buoys, why can't we host additional educational sessions? I just feel like this is based more on restricting lake usage more than it is anything else. Right now, I'm just really bummed at the whole situation. Buoys do not increase the usable space. They push people into areas. So where now you're going to saturate the main channels instead of people breaking off into different areas. That's all I got to say.
Thank you.
Thank you, Robbie.
Okay, the next one is Dan Rhodes. Okay, Mr. Rhodes, go ahead.
Okay, thanks, Morris. Hey, everybody, I'm Dan Rhodes. I've been a Lake Norman area resident for about 8 years. You know, boating is a big part of my family's life, and we're big wake surfers as well. Put about 100 hours a year on the boat, and you know, we're very responsible boaters. We're always very safe, conscientious, go in the morning. But when I moved here 8 years ago, I bought my first boat, and I had never boated before, and I didn't have anybody to teach me. I appreciate what Lynette and Matt are doing at the dealer there, but I bought my first boat on Craigslist, and I shudder to think about how I operated that boat in my first year, and it wasn't intentional. It wasn't reckless. I didn't know what to do. In North Carolina, you don't have to have a qualification to get a boat or rent a jet ski or rent a pontoon. And, you know, I really appreciate being invited to the meeting today. I learned a lot, and I'm also not surprised that with kind of really letting anybody and everybody get into any kind of watercraft that's over 26 that, you know, we have the issues like this. I just kind of want to echo Robbie and Lynette and Matt's sentiment that education is the most important thing here. You know, I think, you know, you probably got groups of people that are reckless. I think knuckleheads, to use the term we were using earlier. I'm not sure education's going to address the knuckleheads. but it can address a lot of people who don't mean to be doing any harm to anybody's dock or causing unsafe conditions. They're inexperienced. They want to know the right thing to do. They don't know how to get there. So Billy, I appreciate at the beginning your kind of sentiment that you want to explore any and all options here. And I think we ought to have a hard look. I don't know, kind of what other lakes around the country do, but some sort of like basic level of certification that you should be able to operate a boat or tow a rider or something. I think it should be pretty simple to eliminate, the folks that just don't know what they're doing. And they don't mean harm. They're not trying to mess anything up. They're just unaware of what their wake can do because, they're new and it's way behind them and the damage happens long after you pass. The knuckleheads may be, all right, thanks, Morris. The knuckleheads may be a bigger issue, but I think, if we start with education, then we can get to that second part later. So appreciate the time.
Thank you.
Okay, Brian Bridgeford.
Can you hear me?
Go ahead, sir.
Hi, my name is Brian Bridgeford. I got a foot in each camp here as far as being a homeowner and being an avid wake surfer. We live directly across from the Davidson College Lake campus, one of the most popular places for people to do everything they do behind boats on this lake, and we see all kinds. The education, I believe, is first and foremost the best thing that we can do. However, I'm not opposed, and I would advocate licensing anyone that is going to operate a power vessel on this lake, and take the revenues generated and use them for the enforcement, because I believe we should educate, license, and then enforce the rules that need to be followed out here to make it safe and to not constrict the use of the lake as the result. So appreciate the opportunity to speak up.
Thank you. Okay, the next person is Mike O'Dowd. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Mike O'Dowd. I am a resident of Marina Village. You've heard us mentioned a few times tonight. I have a concern. I am in approval of a no-wake buoy near our access lot, which is the spot we're looking at trying to get a permit approved. I have a specific purpose to speak here because I do not live on the lake. I live near the lake, and I live in the community here, and we are lucky enough to have a launch ramp. And so when I want to launch my vessel, because I keep it on a trailer, I am able to use our access lot, and it's quite nice when it's calm and you're not worried about a dangerous situation with a wake coming through when you're trying to launch or recover boat. So pretty much that's my point on this, is that launching and recovering a boat under a turbulent situation is dangerous. And as everybody knows, where there's a marina, we don't have a marina, we just have a ramp, but anywhere there's a marina, there's a no wake area for launch and recovery of vessels. That's it for me. Thank you for your.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the next one is David Paquette.
I am. 1 second. Okay, can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
All right. So I'd like to thank you guys for all the work you do, first of all. I live in a cove that has two sanctioned buoys. And I got my boating license when I was 14. I'm now 66. So I've been through this a lot. All my children and my wife also have taken the official boating course. My youngest daughter, who's now 16, got her boating license at 9. And I totally support the folks wanting a buoy, but my concern is they do no good. We've had the buoy now for about 12 years. We have 2 of them on the entrance to our cove. And on any weekend morning, if there's a fishing tournament, the bass boats totally ignore them, race in, race out. They'll idle around the docks. They pay no attention to any distances. The jet skis, you know, I have a megaphone. I asked a young man, a young lady one afternoon about a week ago to please slow down because of the no-wake buoy. They went out to the no-wake buoys and did donuts around it for about 5 minutes, raced back down the cove, shot me the bird, and took off. So my request would be if the sheriff, wildlife police could randomly, not on a regular basis, but randomly kind of sit outside the no-wake coves in order to make it unpredictable to the offenders. Because we all know the damage it causes. We have swimmers, we have kayakers, we have all that. And I really hope the folks in Onsrud get what they would like. But our experience has been that the offenders are the offenders, if you want to call them knuckleheads. The renters are the worst of all of them. They come down, we know they're renters because all the bumpers are out of the pontoons. And we wave them down, ask them to slow down. And the obscenities that we get back are really objectionable. Because they think since they could afford to rent the boat, that they can do whatever they want. Education is the key. There's no way we're going to educate all these folks. I mean, if they really don't want to be educated, they're not going to be.
30 seconds.
So I think the only thing would be if we can randomly have either cameras or something that might help. But it's gotten so bad in the last 3 years that I don't even know if a no-wake buoy will help. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you, sir.
Thanks, sir.
Okay, sorry. Okay, the next person is John Wilson. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Good evening. Thank you for your time so far. Appreciate everybody's comments. I am a Lake Norman resident and also a wakeboarder, wake surfer, and appreciate everybody's comments, especially concerning safety. I think that is first and foremost, and education as well. Also, I just wanted to bring up just concern for just the general process of enacting any new ordinances or rules, and just emphasize just understanding the transparency that goes along with that. Appreciate your comments on that, Billy, to begin with, and just make sure that we have stakeholders on both sides of the spectrum and it's not one-sided. And really, I think there's an education to be had to the public about how those rules and everything get enacted or even are brought up to the place to be voted on or and advertised, and just really want to emphasize that everybody's got who has a stake in that game has a voice on it. Thank you.
Sir.
Thank you, sir. Okay, the next person is Marshall Hawkins. Well, I thought he was on here, but okay, well, maybe he's dropped off because I can't find him. Okay, let's go on to Bill Young. Okay, Bill, go ahead.
Thank you, everybody. Appreciate everything you guys do. I know it's a difficult job. My name is Bill Young. I live in Mecklenburg County, and I was a Marine Commissioner from 2013 to 2018. Tonight, I want to talk about just some issues with the actual process of the no-wake buoy process. Number one, the first paragraph of the current no-wake buoy application states applications will only be considered from private facilities with documented wake damage or specific requests from law enforcement. This is contradictory to the NC Wildlife Statute that states no wake buoys can't be used to mitigate erosion, noise, or property damage. The state does this because it's impossible to determine wake damage to a dock, especially if it's a 20-year-old floating dock. Wake damage is impossible to document and should be taken or removed from as a reason for a no-wake buoy. Number two, the Lake Norman Marine Commission is approving no-wake buoy applications that don't meet the current application requirements. Why would you need a buoy in a cove under 300 feet dock to dock? You don't need a buoy to enforce or give a ticket. Recent applications don't have documented damage, nor have they met the application requirement number 5, which states at least 5 no-wake violation reports are required over a minimum period of 5 months. If HOAs or private facilities are involved, then these forms must be completed by at least 3 different applicants. Where are these reports for all the recent applications, and why is this documentation not public record? The Lake Norman Marine Commission sets a precedent with each application approved, but because the commission is mishandling the application process, incomplete or applications lacking merit get approved regardless of the application or what seems like the whim of the current commissioners. And number 3, the Lake Norman Marine Commission is not being transparent. When the Lake Norman Marine Commission was recently asked for an application to review, the Lake Norman Marine Commission denied the request, saying the application was private. In contrast, NC Wildlife posted a pending no-wake buoy application on the North Carolina Register and its own website for at least 60 days public comment period. After the comment period closes, the rule proposal and any comments received are presented at an official meeting of the NCWRC for final adoption. All Lake Norman no-wake buoy applications and associated materials should be posted on your website during a commenting period. Why does the state need to be open and transparent in their rulemaking for buoys, but the Lake Norman Marine Commission can do it privately and not discuss why the buoy is being approved when it doesn't meet the standards set in their own applications? So finally, we need to stop putting buoys in to protect old, decrepit floating docks and shorelines for its personal favors. There's no documented evidence of a wake ever causing injury on a dock, yet constricting the area or forcing water sports activities into the main channel has killed children on Lake Norman. We got to educate, not regulate. The Lake Norman Marine Commission has fumbled the no-wake buoy application process and needs to clean up the application and the hundreds of illegal no-wake buoys or give the process back to the state, as the current no-wake buoy application process is becoming a joke. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next person is Roy Lewis. Oops. Okay, I don't see him either. Okay, Michelle Cash. Okay, Pam, go ahead.
Hi, I've been a resident lakefront for 17 years. We are avid boaters, we're barefooters, we've taught our children how to slalom ski, how to wakeboard, you know, they love to tube, that sort of thing. The no-wake buoys seem to be almost like a spot zoning of the lake, trying to privatize it more than what it already is with very little public access. It's a very slippery slope to approve a 300-foot no-wake buoy in certain coves. What would prohibit all homeowners from all the coves putting forth a recommendation or an application to make their cove no-wake buoys? Then where will the boats go? And it doesn't just affect, you know, wakeboard boats and bigger boats. When you try to get your pontoon out of your cove, how are you going to do that without creating a wake? I mean, it's just, education is needed. All the boat rails on the lake, people can go and rent a boat without any form of education whatsoever. They don't even have to take a 1-hour class. So to just say that, let's throw up a no-wake buoy, you know, and people are still going to abide by it, that's not going to work. So I'm for not approving no-wake buoys, just because, you know, a group of neighbors don't want to have it in their cove. My neighbors and I could say we don't want it, and that would be, you know, that would be once again privatizing our cove. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next person is Emily Cruz. Okay, go ahead.
Hi, thank you. I'd like to talk about buoy management. The Lake Norman Marine Commission has struggled to ensure maintenance of no-wake buoys on the lake. When a buoy with a life expectancy of 5 to 10 years has not been maintained, it becomes a hazard to navigation, a risk to public safety, and a risk to the Marine Commission itself. In 2015, the Power Squadron identified more than 54 buoys in poor or fair condition on the lake. Nothing was done about them. The list was provided to the Commission again in 2019. Why does it take so long for any action, and why is burden now placed on the citizens to bring these concerns up? The Marine Commission has asked the Power Squadron to reassess the lake, but the question is, what will be done? For more than 2 years, citizens raised concerns about the buoys placed at Tweed Place, indicating that after installation, the homeowner relocated the buoys. No one called the citizens back. No one returned emails. If you can't manage and maintain the buoys that currently exist in the lake, then why would you continue the process and allow more buoys? We all know that the lake is peppered with illegal buoys, and yet there is limited or no efforts by the Marine Commission to remove them. What is the process to get this done in a timely manner? According to a local attorney, if an injury occurs on the lake with an illegal buoy, it's found that the Marine Commission was fully aware of the buoy and its status and did nothing, then the Marine Commission can be held liable for not maintaining the safety of the lake. If the Marine Commission grants permission for the installation of the buoy, but does nothing to ensure that the buoy is maintained in good working condition, then again, the Marine Commission can be held liable. Every year, the Lake Wylie Marine Commission requires an annual review of all no-wake zones and buoys, gathering input from the public, as well as requiring an independent law enforcement review to ensure proper placement, working order, and no changes to the intended use of the lake, such as creating a worsening traffic point. It's not 2 people in a John boat on the first nice Saturday of the year during a pandemic, but instead an independent, objective, professional group that assesses over several weeks, collecting information from multiple sources, citizens, etc., to provide objective information. It's also done in collaboration with the state wildlife. I'm asking the Marine Commission to stop the process for allowing no-wake buoy requests.
30 seconds.
Stop the process for allowing no-wake buoy requests until you can manage what exists today. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, the next person is Becky Fox.
Can you hear me?
Okay, go ahead.
Hi, my name is Becky Fox, and I'm here to voice concerns about some of the processes on the Marine Commission. I'm a nurse by background. I work at a health system, and we've been focused on COVID. So unfortunately, I had to miss the April meeting and the May meeting and the June meeting because we've just been really busy. So trust me though, as a nurse, I really understand the importance of safety now more than ever. I've been coming to the Marine Commission meetings for years. I've volunteered with groups and subcommittees. And I've got to be honest with you, I'm a bit concerned that history is going to repeat itself with the decisions that are made for a few and not really benefiting the public good. I'm also concerned that there might be decisions made for the personal well-being of people that are making the decisions, or even the financial gains of individuals. In recent years, unfortunately, I've seen buoys that have gotten approved that are in front of commissioners' docks. I've seen them approved that are in their coves. I've seen applications come through that didn't meet defined criteria. I've witnessed applicants that have changed their application mid-process based upon the guidance of commission staff to be more favorable for a buoy. I've seen buoys approved based on law enforcement without any citation issued, even when people have asked, how can there be a safety risk if there's absolutely no citations ever issued? In other words, the public has a perception that if you just call the cops enough times, it won't matter if any citations are issued or not, you can get a buoy. I've seen citizens come to meetings, raise concerns, voice them at meetings, emailed, and have not received responses. So tonight, that's why many of us are here. We're asking for change, for transparency, public input, and most importantly, partnership. We all want to use the lake, and we want to do it in a safe manner. We want to see decisions based on substantial objective facts and criteria that clearly demonstrate safety issues and transparency, and we want to follow the examples of others that were mentioned, whether that's North Carolina Wildlife or the Lake Wylie Marine Commission. Now more than ever, especially after hearing of the boating incidents, this is when we should be focused on education. There's no reason why you can't do Zoom education to help educate the public, our young adults, or teenagers, and everyone to become good stewards of the lake. Today, the only way for anyone to know about the proposed buoys would have been to listen to the Zoom meeting from last month. We need transparency.
30 seconds.
There are no details to ensure the criteria was met, that the application is complete, and any way for anyone to prepare to provide feedback. I'm still not really clear where Marina Village is located. So as Joe mentioned, this is the time to pause. I'm asking the Lake Norman Marine Commission to halt, to get the process right, and not approve any no-wake buoys until the processes have been significantly revised to ensure objective review, standardized processes, and public input and partnership with the North Carolina Wildlife Resource Commission.
Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Fox.
Okay, the next person is David Dow. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Good evening. Thanks for letting me have some time this evening. I don't know where Marina Villas is, and I don't know where Onsford is, so I don't know the validity of a no-wake buoy there or if it'll work. But as a general statement, well, I guess what I'm concerned about is that I'm afraid that it's going to appear that a no-wake buoy becomes an elitist action. You get a place on a lake, you decide that you don't want people in your cove or your part of the lake or in front of your dock. I think that we risk the potential of that becoming an elitist action. The federal agency or Energy Resource Commission grants permission for Duke Energy to use the Catawba River waters with the full intention for the waters to be used by the public, not for those who are privileged or live here on the lake. It's really no different than buying a home that backs up, let's say, to a state park and then deciding you don't want horse riding trails in your backyard because sometimes the manure stinks. It's something sometimes you just have to understand and deal with, unfortunately. I'm frustrated there's no responsibility, I guess, sometimes back to the landowners as well to ensure their dock is maybe built to current standards or even appropriate for the size of their boats that they're utilizing. We're taking old piers and trying to protect them. You're tying up big boats and then surprised when the cleat has damage. My concern is that the loophole is a lot less expensive to come to the Marine Commission and get a buoy than it is to repair, update, or replace older docks that, for the most part, were probably built to a lesser standard 10 to 20 years ago. I know that the Commission's recognized for years that Mother Nature causes most of the damage to the dock and the shoreline, especially floating docks. Yet the first consideration on the application I see is for documented dock damage. Examples, many piers have pylon and floating docks and pylons on stationary docks. And you can see in numerous times where there's storms and winds, those also are pounding on the floating docks. It's not purely the watercraft. So I guess my concern really is the commission is potentially fostering an elitist behavior for a way for people to subvert the system and not be responsible for their land or their docks. Duke Energy, I know, requires certified engineer drawings, and those standards, I believe, have changed over the last 10 to 20 years. And I think the commission should also try to follow suit in that, ensure the safety of docks, appropriate boat size for those docks, and considerations whether or not docks are stationary. Are they located in the back of a cove, front-facing point of the lake, where they have activity? So the Lake Norman Marine Commission granting buoys and seeking to protect a few and not acting in the best interest of the general public can sometimes come across offensive to the have-nots. So my ask is that both the community and the commissioners not hide behind buoy applications as the Band-Aid, say no to the buoy applications, stop subcommittees looking to regulate buoys. Let's focus on the community, the commissioner, the marinas, the enthusiasts to find a partnership and safely enjoying the lake. I appreciate the time. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thanks, sir.
Okay. Next person is Stephen Pierce. Okay. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Sorry. So my name's Stephen Pierce. I grew up here at Lake Norman. My parents own a house on the main channel, as well as I've been a pretty avid boater, being a professional wakeboarder, owning a wakeboard school, teaching many kids how to wakeboard and their parents how to boat, and utilize the boat that they've purchased. In the last year, Lake Norman and Charlotte was considered one of the top 10 growth areas in the United States. And this year, COVID has had an impact. Boat sales, jet skis, and paddleboards. What? I'm talking. Here, come sit with me. Sorry, guys.
You can have 30 extra seconds, maybe a minute, as you
Hey, buddy.
take your time.
Okay, go find mommy and ask her to put it on, please. Or sit here with me. Thank you. Just go find mommy. Sorry, guys. It's bedtime. So where I left off is this year's been huge for the water sports industry, and as well as, anything outdoors. All the boat dealerships are all sold out of boats. There's numerous boating clubs that have sold out their memberships. Some of them have 40 plus boats. That's, over 1,000 families that, are enjoying this lake. What I'm seeing is there's 520 miles of shoreline. That's 31,000 plus acres on the lake. And with a 150-foot buffer off the docks, that's more than 9,000 acres considered no wake, which is almost 3/4 or 1/3 of the lake that we can use. When you add the average dock, that is 60 feet, then the acres jump up to 13,000. I'm sorry, guys. Brecken, you need to go ask mom. Okay, please just sit here with me.
No.
Okay.
I know the show.
Well, go in there, please.
No, she said she can't. So can you?
Basically, where I'm getting is, I'm really concerned with, I've got to go.
Thank you. Okay, the next person is Lee Gatz. Okay, if Mr. Gatz is on, he needs to unmute.
And this person may be right there.
What's the name, Morris?
Lee Gatz. I've got him on here. He's logged in, but he needs to accept the invitation to unmute, I think.
I may have misheard you, but you said Commissioner.
There he goes. Okay, go ahead, sir. Mr. Gatz.
Yes, sir. Can you hear me now?
Yes, go ahead.
So sorry about that. I'm trying to get my computer to work here. Oh, there I am. Okay. Well, hey, thanks so much for letting me be a part of the meeting tonight. I represent the National Marine Manufacturers Association. We're the largest trade association in the United States. We've got about over 1,400 members. All of those beautiful boats that's on Lake Norman, they're members of ours, and we try to communicate with them the things that's happening right at home in their backyard. I'm actually based in Winston-Salem, so I'm just a little bit up the road from you guys there at Lake Norman. I'd like to echo a lot of the comments that's been said tonight regarding education. Our team has really just joined with WSIA and the folks that's putting on the Wake Responsibly campaign about not making repetitive passes, staying 200 feet away from the shoreline and other structures. We feel that that is the most effective means in going forward and advocating for this great pastime that we all love to enjoy. And also we have the science to prove that as well, that keeping those distances, not those repetitive passes, it keeps everyone safe, doesn't accelerate any type of shoreline erosion or anything like that. So I just really wanted to be a part of this call today and just get those points in. If we got to talking about wake boats or wake surfing of any kind, I know that's not what the agenda was tonight, but look forward to having that discussion with anyone in the future that I can, and just being a resource for anyone in terms of data if you need it. So thanks, guys.
Thank you, Mr. Katz.
Okay, the next person is David Leach. Okay, go ahead, sir.
Good evening. My name is Dave Leach. I'm a lakefront homeowner, an avid user of the lake, and an active member of the Lake Norman Water Ski Club, which currently maintains 3 slalom courses on Lake Norman and 1 on Lake Davidson. Lake Norman's made up of hundreds of coves, and when you put buoys in a cove, you squeeze the usable space of that cove and force boaters into smaller, restricted spaces like Robbie mentioned earlier. Let me give you a recent real-world example. The Lake Norman Water Ski Club hosts a ski club practice every Tuesday night in the cove in front of Eddie's on the lake. This practice is skiing the approved slalom course in that cove. For those who don't understand skiing the course, there's a series of balls which guide the boat down the center path of a course. The skier attempts to navigate around 6 alternating balls at a boat speed of between 28 and 36 miles an hour. This year, 3 new no-wake buoys appeared in that cove, which were not approved by the Lake Norman Marine Commission before installation. I'm sure you've all seen them. You can see them from Williamson Road as you drive by. Since they've been installed, we've seen a considerable increase in boat and jet ski traffic interfering and creating a significant safety risk to the skiers, because jet skiers now have to go even further out because of those buoys. In the last 2 weeks, we had near misses with the tube that was drug into the course while a skier was skiing through the course, and another was when the jet ski came barreling straight into the course while a skier was entering from the other end. Both incidents caused the skier and the tuber and the jet skier to be within 50 feet of each other. Prior to the installation of these buoys, at least the last 3 summers that I've been involved, there were no such incidents. Nor did Eddie's have reported or contact the Lake Patrol to document any incidents that would have justified or illustrated a significant safety risk. Reducing the available recreational areas on Lake Norman will cause more accidents like this and will result in significant injuries and, God forbid, deaths. What I'm asking for from the Marine Commission is to take action against these illegal buoys and not approve any additional no-wake buoys until all the illegal buoys are remedied on the lake. If safety is the concern, swift action is what we need. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, Maria Mazzetti, I think it is. Well, I don't find her. Okay, let's move on. Lance Fox. Okay, Mr. Fox, go ahead.
Good evening. Thank you for the time to talk this evening. Do appreciate the service of the commissioners, and also shout out to Officer Robinson and Fiergo for their work. I wanted to chat a little bit about the greater good here in keeping the lake open. We've had the opportunity to work on Davidson Lake in the past, whereas there was an attempt to make that lake a no-wake lake, and we now see how many folks are using the lake. I happen to live a cove adjacent to where this request is from. On our east and west side of us, we also have coves that have illegal no-wake buoys. What we have seen is a consolidation of boats as these buoys are put up into smaller and smaller areas. This, coupled with some really interesting facts I'd like to share with you, I think are worthy of noting. There's currently 520 miles of shorelines. That's about 31,000 acres of lake. With a 150-foot buffer right now, there are more than 9,000 of the acres of the lake that are considered currently no wake. When you add in an average dock length of 60 feet, then those acres jump to 13,000. So presently, 42% of the available lake is already considered no wake lake. So as you take away some of the back of these coves where folks can pull their kids, on kneeboards going slow, tubes going slow, and these types of opportunities, what you're doing is pushing them into these more consolidated areas. As I looked out, I've just been keeping track. We've seen double the amount of boats. We're up to almost 30 boats in our cove now. And since we've seen these additional no-wake illegal buoys go up, folks don't get near that. So then you have folks that park in front of the buoys, and then that further consolidates the traffic. The last point I'd like to make is if you look at the group of folks that represent the 4 buoys, they are in the cove and stand to personally benefit from this. If you look at the group of folks that are on this call, and it's quite a substantial group of individuals, they represent the community at large. These are folks that do not have a vested personal interest in a buoy in front of someone's home, but yet we're all here in the evening with our children trying to put them to bed. This is about keeping the public waterways open. It's about recognizing that 42% of the lake is already considered no wake, and that we must keep this space open for the citizens, for the safety of all. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, next person is Amanda Lewandowski. Okay, go ahead.
Am I unmuted?
Yes, go ahead.
Hello, my name is Amanda Lewandowski, and my husband and I own the local Mastercraft dealership off of Raleigh School Road. So what I wanted to mention is the Lake Norman Marine Commission has established, to my knowledge, a subcommittee without any involvement in the local boat dealerships. I'm not aware, I have not been contacted by the Marine Commissioner about this. I believe there's only one member of the wake surfing community that has been involved in this committee, this subcommittee. If there's educational problem for wake surfers on the lake that we can help, just as some of the other dealers have mentioned, we do clinics and we do educational seminars for our patrons and our customers. Changing the intended use of the lake targeting wake surfers removes the rights of these individuals, and it has a significant impact on our economy and economic impact, not only our business, but other businesses like real estate agents, the marine boat clubs, the supportive service industries. This is a multi-billion-dollar industry. So any restrictions you make have significant impacts locally and beyond. A formal and professional impact study should be done before any of these changes should be made, including recommended towboat time from sunrise to sunset. We need the Lake Norman Marine Commission to partner with us to educate and not regulate. So we recommend that please reverse your recommendations on towboat time and deny any requested additional buoy requests to the lake, and stop efforts to restrict the utilization of the lake and reverse the commission's process to increase usability of the lake. So I'm speaking from someone that lives on the lake, that I enjoy the lake, but it's all about education. So just before any processes are made or any decisions are made, I do think there needs to be a more formalized process that's being followed. So thank you guys for letting me speak tonight.
Thank you, ma'am.
Thank you. Okay, Billy, give me a second here. Let me run through the folks that I had down to speak that apparently are not signed in, or at least under the names they gave me. So bear with me here for just a second. Okay, I have a person logged in as Scott. I don't know if that's Scott Glover. Let me unmute and see.
We've got people rolling down the board for real.
You're logged in as Scott. Okay, well, he dropped off. All right. Okay. Okay, I'm almost finished here. Okay, Billy, that's all that had signed up that appears to be logged on this evening. So that's the end of the public comment section.
Thank you, Morris, and thank you so much to the great showing tonight from the public. We really appreciate your involvement and your comments, and we encourage you to continue to speak your voices. They're loud and clear, and certainly not taken lightly. So with that said, we'll move on to committee reports. Atons, Morris.
Okay, well, we had some successes, and then we always have more to do. Main channel marker 6 has gotten knocked down for the second time this year. But I do again want to throw out a thanks to the law enforcement folks and the towboat folks, because they actually found this marker, and it looks like we're going to be able to we'll be able to use the markers, the signs that were made before, because they're almost brand new. So appreciate the help in making sure that didn't get lost. But that marker will be replaced. Marker M6, there's a light out, that will be replaced. We're adding a no-wake bridge buoy at I-77 bridge east of Williamson Road Bridge. That's that very small bridge. There's not much on the other side of it, but apparently it's become quite a place for jet skiers to go through there, PWCs. And of course, the law says you have to be at no wake speed going under a bridge. So the bridge buoy will be placed on that one. Also, we got to replace one of the no wake bridge buoys at the railroad bridge leading to Lake Norman Marina. That one's gone. Marker 3, 7, and M1 lights are not visible due to osprey nest. And those we can't do anything with until the ospreys leave this fall. So hopefully we can we'll be able to put a pole up or something to keep them from nesting back on that. But that'll be handled once the birds leave. The recent review of all the markers that was performed by the boating club, formerly the Lake Norman Power Squadron, identified 17 markers that are faded. And we're in the process of getting those signs made now. So those markers will be replaced here over the next few weeks. Probably take several weeks for a contractor to get around to everything, but hopefully those will be all replaced. Again, I want to throw out a big thank you to the boating club for doing that. They're going to continue to do that. Actually, they've assigned some of their people to each section of the lake, and they're going to keep us informed of any problems that they see. So that's going to help us be more responsive to things that are gone or things that need repair. So that's my report.
Okay. Thank you, Morris. Just one thing to add to the ATONs. As most of you know, the North Carolina Wildlife Federation works in partnership with the Marine Commission to address the problem of ospreys nesting upon ATONs. We've been placing for the last 2 years. I think we're up to about 24 platforms that we've placed adjacent or up against ATONs. So if you happen to see one on the lake that has a nest upon it, please inform us. I know that we may have a couple to address before next nesting season, which happens usually early in the spring, about March. So, but anyway, we're looking for reports when you see osprey nests upon ATON. So thank you all very much. Okay, with that said, we'll move on to the environmental report. Hydrilla, I think we have addressed the issue. We haven't had any confirmed reports to my knowledge. Is that the case, Morris, that within the past couple of weeks we haven't had any reports, right?
Yes, we're still getting reports of people that think they may have hydrilla, and so far it's all been Cara. And Cara looks a lot like hydrilla, especially under the water, but if you pull it up to the top, it's real slimy, and if you kind of crush it, it'll smell bad. And if you lay it out, it'll dry up. So that's a couple of ways you can tell the difference pretty easily. But anybody that has a suspected outbreak should let us know, and then the Duke environmentalists will come by and check it and make sure that we don't have any. But so far this year, we haven't seen any regrowth of the hydrilla we had before.
Okay. So great part. I commend all of those who were involved with the effort in taking control of the hydrilla, the most recent hydrilla outbreak. We all knew how bad it was over 12, 13 years ago. So, and it came back a few years ago, and we addressed it aggressively, and it just impacted so many lakefront properties, so many marinas, and we were in fear that it could get out of control, but it's obvious that all of the efforts have paid off. So thanks to all those involved with that effort. Boater education, Commissioner Scott.
Yeah, just a quick update on the website use. We still have a large number of people coming. We had 1,430 new users in the month of July. But just to reinforce a point made earlier about maybe it's slowing down a little bit, that's down actually 7% month to month. They still are coming to find regulations and laws. So that's where they're spending a lot of their time. So we are having hopefully some impact in the lack of some of the other educational opportunities. The other comment I'd like to make, thank everybody who made all the comments tonight. The vast majority of them mentioned or hit on education. I would encourage you, if you have concrete ideas, don't just tell me that education's lacking. We know that. If you have some concrete ideas, contacts, whatever, please send them to me. I'll be the focal point as the committee chair for education for the commission. But I'd really like some concrete input. Specifically, I also like to go back a couple of years when John Gerke had my seat here in Catawba County. He started a education survey and sent it out to all the dealers. And we got a less than stellar response to that, a miserable response, probably less than 20%. Some dealers are on here tonight. Manufacturers reps are on here. I'd like to hear from you. If you've got ideas, let me know. Thing is over. We're going to resurrect that survey, go around personally, visit the dealers and see if we can get some concrete ideas, as well as the rental companies. Thank you.
Thank you, Commissioner Scott. And great point about the chat. I like the chat. You know, during our usual in-person public meetings, the public's really only able to speak during our public comment section. But with this chat function, it gives you another voice or another way to voice your opinion. So I don't know how much longer. Hopefully we won't have to be virtual for very much longer, but that's certainly great to see all of the chat messages going back and forth. So thank you again, Commissioner Scott. Charter boats, Commissioner Ettinger.
Yeah, charter boats are up and running. I know we are at the Carolina Grace, not doing too bad. We're sticking with the what the government regulations we've been told to, and I've told everybody else on the boats the same thing, and we're doing all right. I'm going to jump ahead to number 8 just to get it out of the way. We do have a new charter boat on the lake. It's been inspected and approved, and its name is the Carolina Tiki. And I don't know how many people remember the old boat up at up above the bridge there at the purple. Anyways, they used to use it. He bought it and it's totally redone it. It is the most beautiful boat. This guy spent a lot of hours on it, and it's all polished stainless steel. You got new top, new carpeting. Anyways, the Carolina Tiki, 41-foot pontoon boat, and he'll be offering rides right now. It's bring your own food, but to get started, he's offering rides. And like I say, I did the full inspection as we always do, and in the interest of kind of like with the everything going on, I'd like to make a motion that we accept his application and let him go to work.
Sure. We have a motion on the table.
Yes, put a motion on the table.
Would you restate that, please, Commissioner?
He's passed all his inspection. He's submitted all his paperwork. I have his check for the inspection, and we'll be turning that all in. The boat's a very nice boat, a very safe boat, and I'd like to make a motion that we accept his package and let him go to work, I guess what I wanted to say.
Would you restate the name of that vessel, please?
Carolina Tiki.
Carolina Tiki.
I'm sorry, and the name is Jack. Oh, wait a minute. Hang on one second. The owner's name is Jason Kraft. I'm sorry, I forgot that. He's an owner. He's a carpenter and builds homes up in Mooresville.
One last time, would you restate that motion with the name of the vessel?
I'd like to approve the motion. I'd like to make a motion that we approve the Carolina Tiki as a safe, inspected boat.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. Can I get a second?
I second the motion.
Any further discussion on the Carolina Tiki becoming a approved vessel on Lake Norman? Okay. Let's do a roll call vote, gentlemen. Commissioner Scott.
Aye.
Okay. Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
Commissioner Hughes.
Aye.
Commissioner Ettinger.
Aye.
Motion approved unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Anything else with the charter boats?
No, that's good.
Okay. Thanks, sir. Rafting, Commissioner Hughes.
Nothing to report.
Thank you, sir. Anything related to no wake buoys aside from the ONSRUD application?
No, nothing.
Okay. Thanks, sir. Okay. fellow commissioners, we have, we're now at the applications portion of the meeting.
Mr. Chairman,
Yes, sir.
before we begin on the next part of the onslaught where we're going to be voting on it, I'd like to say one thing. The question has come up to me several times lately that as commissioners, do we have the authority to vote down a buoy application? I feel that we need to answer this question just so we're doing this thing right. And we need to get a second opinion on this. And then also along with that, I think brings up another question. When we receive an application, is it considered as public record? I've been, understand people have requested to look at it and been turned down. With all these in mind, I would like to make a motion that we table this application until we determine that we know what we're doing as far as what we can do.
Okay, we have a motion on the floor to table the current application in order to seek, are you suggesting legal counsel?
Yes, we need a second opinion.
Okay. We have a motion on the floor. Can I get a second to table?
I'll second it.
Okay, we have a second. So further discussion.
Billy, I think that I'm the new guy on the block here, and based on the comments I've heard tonight, even though I've lived here in Bell Lake for ever since it was built, I think they were all very valid. I think some of them made a lot of sense, and I'll agree with the pause and the fact that we need to maybe look at a long-term solution to what we've been putting, I guess, Band-Aids on. So I fully support the pause.
Okay. Any further discussion?
Yeah, I'd like to chime in here because when I was the new guy, Rick, this question just come up in the previous chairman, go back to chairman, and there was a lot of discussion and debate and falling on swords and so forth about the process being flawed. And Michael, as the chairman of the Boyd committee, had a group last year that went, and we all agreed, and we did take a pause. He took a group and went back through the process and came back with the recommendation that no significant changes were required. Correct me if I'm wrong, Michael, if I misstated.
That's correct.
Okay. So we have reviewed it just within the last couple of years, the process itself. And as for being transparent, I can kind of see that point that we post the act perhaps. However, the application, the ONSRUD was presented during the meeting in the public. It is in minutes, which are available. In fact, it's a video of the actual meeting, including that presentation by Mr. ONSRUD, is out there on the public record right now. So the other question that Danny asked is, can we vote it down? And I'm not sure exactly what your intent was there, Danny.
I want to interject here. I don't think that any commissioners are insinuating that this application would be voted down. I just want to be clear there. I think that Commissioner Ettinger is just asking the question. It's been presented before. And is that correct, Commissioner Ettinger?
Yes, if I voted down, am I illegal, basically?
Well, okay, and that's what I was that's where I was going with it.
And I'd like to see a second opinion on this.
Because when I came on the commission, I think it was John Gerke or Morris, both of them gave me a very comprehensive packet of material, including what the laws are around the Lake Norman Marine Commission. And we are a state chartered organization, legally bound to follow our processes. So
what does that mean?
Express a lot of opinions and so forth, but if we have a process, my opinion, and the way I understand reading that legal document that was given to me, if people follow a process in our books and they meet all the requirements, then our personal opinions go a little bit out the window, a lot out the window. We have to follow our process.
And I think that's the issue. That indicates that there is no commissioner discretion at all. it's like a bank taking in a credit report. This is not a good comparison, but, and then being able to, not being able to deny. I just think that the commissioners should have a high level of discretion in approving these buoys or disapproving these buoys. I think that if an application is an application, and that to me says we're putting this forth to the commissioners to be considered. And so I think it's a great question to be asked. And I understand that the commission has operated in a certain way over decades, but I think that Commissioner Ettinger asks a valid question. Is
just because we've done it a certain way for years doesn't mean it's right. It's just
I would agree. In fact,
we've accepted
a motion to take a time out and get legal counsel to answer this once.
Absolutely, I think that's right. And again, this is no insinuation as to whether we would approve or disapprove the current application in question, which is why I think Commissioner Ettinger made the motion to table it until we take a step back and seek legal counsel on those two issues. One is, do we have the authority to deny an application that is complete? And two, is that application public record? I totally understand, Commissioner Scott, what you're saying, and that the presentation is made in the meeting before that the application is to be considered. But what information is it that the public is seeking? Is it the police reports? We don't talk about those. Those police reports are, some of them are just a report of the officer going out to talk with the resident who is complaining and just saying that, yeah, they reported that someone on a jet ski came by or a boat by my dock. And to me, that is flawed. So I appreciate Commissioner Hughes' work on the No Wake Buoy Committee, and maybe it's something we need to revisit. I mean, we've had a lot of great issues, a lot of great public input that has come forth, and we have the greatest amount of public participation on the Lake Norman with regard to the Lake Norman Marine Commission meetings and the information that we're receiving and the public comment. And so I do think that it's time to take a step back and reassess everything in a very serious and with a fine comb matter. And
with that said, I'd like to call a question on the motion.
Chairman Wilson, I've got a quick question.
Commissioner Ettinger, will you give the floor? You made the motion. Will you withdraw that for just a moment?
I'll withdraw it. Mr. Hogg, go ahead.
Yes, sir, Commissioner.
Being new, and I have questions on this, and I listened to the prior commissioner, Bill Young. Obviously, he was on for 5 years or more. I'm certain that with the passion I saw coming from him, he's been addressing this for 5 years or more. My concern is, if what I'm hearing is right, why would it even come before us for a vote if we only can vote aye?
Absolutely. That's the issue.
Why do it?
Why even have the Lake Norman? Why do we even have it come on come before the table if our vote doesn't matter? And I think that we need to change. We have to change the culture of the Lake Norman Marine Commission, because we cannot approve every buoy request, or there would be buoys in every cove. That is the bottom line here. And it's something that we have been misled to believe, in my opinion, that we have to approve every buoy application that comes before us. That's the
way I've always taken it. People approach me, you got to vote for it.
Absolutely. Why? There is no, and with that philosophy, there is no reason to have commissioners even dealing with the no wake buoy applications. And there was the argument that WRC, who back in the day used to handle it, and then when the Lake Norman Marine Commission, the duty was handed over to the Lake Norman Marine Commission, and we started handling it, and buoys are all over the place, unapproved, approved, and they just keep piling up. And we're really not even sure of whether we can approve or disapprove a buoy in the first place. So that legal opinion will matter so much moving with this Lake Norman Marine Commission.
How many times did you hear them mention tonight about illegal buoys? How'd they get there, you know? How many people talked about it tonight? Sure.
And I know that a long time ago before the Marine Commission, some buoys may have been approved, maybe by the state, that there's no record of, that we're not sure whether they were approved or not. And I've had a lot of people this week contact me over the unapproved buoys. Well, the problem with taking them out is two things. One, the expense of pulling them out. And two, do we know if they were approved or not? Because there's no record of the previous actions taken by, and I'm not knocking the state, but there's no record out there of those. So if we go pulling out buoys, but yet they may have been approved, we don't know, then that gets into a gray area where there has to be a solution to this problem. And if that means, it's frustrating. We hear the public speaking out and your voice is loud and we are listening to it. And we need to come up with a solution to deal with all of these problems.
With that said, I'll again call a question on the motion.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman and Mr. Ettinger, can I make a couple of comments from a historical perspective?
Yes, sir.
I know in the past there has been some discussion about approving buoy applications. I will tell you that there have been buoy applications that have come before the commission that were complete and they were not approved. We had one last year. And
yes, there were, but that's the commissioners taking it upon themselves to say enough is enough, and this may not apply to. That's commissioners taking discretion, despite the advice that we've had from whoever it may be, previous admin. You know, that is the issue.
Well, all I'm saying is that the commissioners, in my opinion, have the discretion to approve or disapprove a buoy application.
That's your opinion, Morris. That's your opinion. I want an official opinion from a lawyer.
Was that the philosophy of previous administrations?
That I can't say, Billy. I don't know if it was or not. I've been on the commission since I've been.
Love you to death, Morris, but we need an official opinion.
I've been around since an administration before you, and that was the culture before where we are now. And I'm not saying that this commission is totally anti-buoy. As you can see, the last buoy application where we placed the ATON north of the 150 bridge, the request asked for 5 buoys, but yet we took the whole area into consideration and decided that we would place an ATON because it was very appropriate, thanks to Commissioner Scott for that recommendation to place the ATON. But it covered most of the, or addressed most of the issue except for one particular area. And we approved 1 buoy. And then that is commissioners considering a very complex situation where on Lake Norman, it's one of the most drastic turns on the lake in the main channel. It goes from south to north. And we addressed it and we placed that buoy. So that's yes, to answer your question, the commission has approved buoys in the past. Is that because we were rogue and just decided to go against the culture and approve buoys because, you know, we want to do what's right for the lakefront? We want to do what's right. I can attest that the current commissioners, the majority of the commissioners, are about lake boating safety, promoting recreation, and protecting the homeowners. And that is our duty. Operating under questionable circumstances and questionable things, questioning our authority is not the way a commission should operate. It is not. There needs to be some clarity as to our legal authority to approve buoys or disapprove it. That's the bottom line.
I think we've beat this up enough. Let's go ahead and vote.
Okay.
Can you restate the motion, please?
Yes, I make a motion that we table both I keep forgetting, Onstrad buoy, and in favor of getting a legal opinion, second opinion, somebody that we haven't been using, and settle it, and then we go ahead and move on.
But
We need to get our path straight.
What's the scope of the legal opinion? You talked about our authority. Do you also want to have him review the current process?
Mind well, let's do it. It's going to cost us money, but what the heck?
Sorry.
I'm not happy with the legal opinion we've been getting from whoever our attorney is. I never did know who it was, never met him.
Well, I think that the process, the application itself, as I mentioned earlier, has issues such as law enforcement. Law enforcement reports are just reports of a homeowner, and I get that law enforcement resources are very short. You know, they're strained, and they can't be out to observe every violation of the no wake law ordinance. But that part of the no wake buoy application could use some work, and I just don't know if the attorney. We can ask him about it. We can surely ask him about it. But if we do, that is a point I would like to bring forth to the attorney: is a property owner's testament good enough for what we're looking for and requiring? Okay, so we have a motion on the table. Just to clarify that motion, Commissioner Ettinger, will you please repeat that motion?
I make a motion that we table the Onstrad buoy tonight in favor of determining where we're at, what authority we do have to make these decisions, and also the issue of the public record. Is it a public record or not, the application?
Okay. All right. Commissioners, can I get a second?
I second the motion.
It was a second from Commissioner Hughes?
Correct.
Okay. We'll do a roll call. Commissioner Scott?
Aye.
Commissioner Howard?
Aye.
Commissioner Hughes?
Aye.
Commissioner Ettinger?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you very much, gentlemen. Okay. Moving on with the agenda. Now, I just want to clarify one thing. The Onstrad application is still alive and is just tabled until we seek legal counsel on these matters. Okay. Marina Villas, I think we have someone present to make a no wake buoy application.
Yes. Jill Patterson is going to make that presentation. Okay, Ms. Patterson, you're unmuted.
Okay.
And
Hi,
there
I'm
you go.
thank you so much. I'm Jill Patterson, resident of It's Marina Village, a neighborhood that's down Stutz Road, down at the southern end of the county. I'm a resident here of 14 years and a current HOA board member. And I am the one that was going to present an application for a single buoy in front of Marina Village access lot. I see that Mr. Sample has the map that I had supplied, or he found another map. I think all of you guys, each of the commissioners was issued a copy of our application. And with the length of this meeting and all the concerns, I'm gonna try to make this as short as I can, because that single page document that I attached with some Google Maps and distances listed on those, the document is pretty thorough on our case and identifying the location, but this map shows, I know I wanted to address, can I address a couple of things that I heard earlier? I did want to say to Becky Fox, when she said she didn't know where Marina Village was, that the application that I did submit has records of that. This map has it, and I'm going to explain it a little bit more. But Marina Village is a neighborhood that has 51 lots, property owners. And part of that community is a deeded access lot that has amenities for picnicking, swimming, stationary dock, fishing, a boat ramp for loading, unloading dry docked boats, because, and we do have 10 deeded, or not deeded, permitted boat slips. So we have a lot of families down there, a lot of activity there. And when you look at the map that's here, from our boat slips, the 10 boat slips, to the white dock that's the closest dock from our boat slips, it is a distance of 312 feet, which, because that's over the 300-foot limit for the 150-foot no wake zone, we are requesting that we have a single buoy be placed within 150 feet of our boat slips. For the safety, as you know, people have all talked about the safety of all the people and families that are down there using that one lot. There's a lot of activity there, but that area of the lot and across the bay or across the cove really acts as is kind of the mouth of the final half of Stutz Cove that progressively but irregularly narrows. So our 312 foot is the widest part of the latter half of Stutz Cove. And so, for example, the next property into the cove that abuts our access lot, that dock belongs to Dr. Monson, who spoke earlier under comments. And if it goes to that second white covered lot on the Isle of Pines side of the cove, that distance is 269 feet. So it quickly narrows to below the 300 feet distance from shore to shore, and progresses, as you see down the line, as 300 feet or less. And so by definition, that's already a no wake zone. But because we have the widened area right prior to the location of our access lot, that's the first half of Stutz Cove. We get a lot of traffic, a lot of boat traffic, which is fine. And as you can see, there's plenty of room, boats with skiers, PWCs come down, and oftentimes turn around right before our access lot, to go back out and out of the cove. But if they don't turn around and keep going in front of our access lot and further into the cove, they are in a no wake zone. And we have had multiple violations, almost daily violations, honestly. As previous speakers from our community spoke, there had been buoys out there for about 20 years. Unfortunately, someone complained about one, and it was pulled because it was found to be not permitted. That was before my time and most of our time here. So we did pull it, but we as a community voted in our 2019 annual meeting in April of 2019 to pursue a legal application to replace that buoy. When talking to the Lake Patrol, who have been fabulously helpful to us and supportive and promptly responding to our reports of violations, they had told us that they had always noticed a lot of violations down here, but they did admit to us that their, I don't know if bias is the right word, but their typical response is not to issue citations, but instead to issue verbal warnings and education. So when someone was previously saying they needed violations as part, or citations as part of the process, I think that needs to be examined on how that's handled by the Lake Patrol, who are few in numbers. They always responded to us, but rarely were they able to find the description of the boat or jet ski that we wrote on our violation reports. In the context of the application, I did submit several violation reports by 7 different individuals from the months of February 2020 until June of 2020. And what we noticed was we really didn't have violation reports prior to the buoy being removed in the fall of 2018. We did try to make an application for a buoy in 2019, June of 2019, but because of confusion and inconsistencies with the instructions on how to complete the application, we didn't do it right. And so that was denied in September. So to the person who said that you guys didn't meet your standards, we were specifically told you couldn't accept our application because it didn't follow the processes and we didn't use the violation report form. So we started that process again in June of 2019, but we weren't able to get the 5 consecutive months before the boating season wound down. So we started again this year and have a completed application, but in your packet, you will see both applications because I wanted to show that although this summer has had increased boat traffic, that we had plenty of violations during the whole of 2018 as well. I got to think where I'm heading here. I don't want to go really too far. Bottom line is that the main issue we have is we are right at that mouth of the narrowing of the cove, and with our 51 property owners that use our access lot, and the 74 that I can count on Google Maps of docks and boat slips that exist as you go further into the no-wake zone part of the latter half of this cove, one single buoy would help with the safety and to promote safe usage of non-motorized watercraft that this cove is very popular for, with kayaks, paddle boats, paddle boards, swimming, just rafting, families rafting, because it is narrow and a quiet cove. And so when these fast boats go through, not just with the weight, but just the speed and the amount of people using the cove, that's 125 property owners that would have some level of added safety protection and being proactive with one buoy. The Lake Patrol has said that they agree with that it used to be there. And now we've had, as Dr. Monson and a couple other people have said, we not only get refusals when we ask people to slow down, but obscenities that it sounds like other people hear. But also there's been 2 instances that I know of that the person responded saying, there used to be a no-wake buoy here, but it's gone now, so that means I don't have to slow down. So it is a visual reminder for folks that's going to protect a lot of people down in the narrow end of this cove. The only other main comment I want to make is at the start of Stutz Cove, between marker D11 and D9, is Stutz Marina. And they have recently added or are adding up, I think it's 178 boat slips to their pre-existing slips. And some section of that, I want to say 24, I'm not reading off, that's all on your document sheet. 24, 28 of those are for boat club boats. And just with the numbers and the numbers of possibly weekend or, you know, I guess non-educated lake boat operators, Stutz Cove is going to have an increase in traffic with the probability of less experienced boaters trying the boats out or the PWCs. And I think that a single buoy, when it gets to this mouth of this narrowed cove, they're not going to know where they're going as a visible instruction that this is they're entering an area that they're no longer able to go past a no wake speed. But it is a safety issue. We've had several concerns out in front of our access lot, and it just serves a lot of people. Want to see an accident happen before somebody says, oh, we need to get a buoy there. But with that said, I don't know with your applications copies, if you had had a chance to read through it, had any questions. I didn't want to take the time after this long meeting to read through that whole documentation sheet, but I'm glad to do it if you'd like me to. Any questions or comments?
Hello, Commissioners. Any questions or comments regarding this no wake buoy request presentation?
Oh, very nice presentation.
Yeah.
Well, thank you for that. I was worried because I struggle. I'm a pretty detailed person, and you'll notice that when you read the documentation sheet. Please, I would like you to read that. But after this lengthy meeting and all the discussion, I thought, I'm going to try to err on the side of not being so detailed and just hit the high spots. But if there are any questions or comments, I'm glad to get back to you on that after you've read the document.
Okay.
Thank you so much to all of you. And I do give a shout out to the Lake Patrol. They have been very helpful to us. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Patterson. Commissioners, any other questions for Ms. Patterson?
No.
Nope.
Thank you, gentlemen. Okay. Variances. We have no requests, applications, permits, charter boat permits. Commissioner Ettinger, we handled Carolina Tiki earlier. Anything in addition to Carolina Tiki?
No, but if you want a nice riding pontoon boat, it's pretty good.
Thank you, sir. FERC applications, we have none of those. Administrative matters, Mr. Sample.
No, none.
Thanks, sir. Okay, ladies and gentlemen, I just want to take time to thank everyone again for taking part in the Marine Commission meeting. It's virtual, and we made the most of it. All of the folks that signed up for public comment, your participation is greatly appreciated, and there is always an open line in terms of us listening to your comments. Feel free to shoot emails to, it's on our website. Is it info@lnmc.org, Morris?
Yes.
Okay. Or feel free, all of the commissioners' contact information is listed on our website. So we would love to continue to hear from you. So with that said, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
Mr. Chairman, let me add one thing. In the last hour or so, I've gotten some emails from some of the people that apparently didn't get logged in to make their comments. So we'll include those comments in the
minutes. Okay. All right, great.
Great job, Morris. I don't know how you kept up with it.
Yeah, good job. And thanks so much again to everyone who bared with us tonight. And we hope to see you next time. So motion to adjourn?
Motion.
So moved.
Second.
Commissioner Scott, all in favor?
Aye.
Just to make it official, we will do a roll call to adjourn because that's the way it needs to be done. Commissioner Scott?
No.
You want to stay here all night long? Okay, that's a no from Commissioner Scott. He wants to keep going. Commissioner Scott,
Doesn't have to be unanimous, does it?
it doesn't. No. Commissioner Hughes, moving on.
Aye.
Commissioner Howard.
Aye.
And Commissioner Ettinger.
Aye.
Motion to adjourn is approved. Thank you all so much. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir.
Take care.